If you already play an instrument, piano, an orchestral instrument, something you've studied, you walk into violin with something most beginners just don't have. You speak the language. You just need to learn the dialect. Today's episode, You Already Speak Music, is for the musician adding violin to what they already know. Here's what transfers, what doesn't, and how to use both. Do you already read music, understand theory, or have a strong internal sense of pitch? Have you found that your musical knowledge is ahead of your physical technique when you approach the violin? Wouldn't you agree, if there's a big gap there, that could be frustrating? And wouldn't you further agree it would help you if you had a clear map of exactly what your prior training gives you as an asset and exactly what violin might require that nothing else has prepared you for? And wouldn't you agree that frustration can actually be a sign that your music intelligence is working perfectly? It just needs the somatic understanding and the connection to violin-specific results to match it. If we haven't met, I'm EP Archer, and I help committed violinists over 30 to create beautiful tone and unshakable confidence without compromising who they are or the music they love. There's a lot that transfers immediately when you're coming from one instrument to another. Reading music, rhythmic understanding. There's a basis in a language. If you know about intervals, distances, if you've played a instrument that has a fingerboard or a fretboard before, you're aware of measuring distances on that. And if it's a fretted one, you still have a visual understanding of how far away notes are that can easily transfer. For example, a classically trained pianist is hearing a piece. They immediately are understanding some of the structure, the key, the phrasing. They are knowing which finger patterns would be used and which scales, and you can take that theoretical knowledge and that ear training knowledge and transfer it to the violin. What doesn't transfer is obviously how it feels in your body. When you're playing a 5-finger pattern on the piano or a major scale, that is not going to feel the same. Now, if you're coming from guitar and you've done any classical work or even the ukulele and you've played some scales, especially scales where you shift positions, or we have a more classical influence where we are using the framework of the hand, that definitely transfers. The spacing will be different, the shifting and the patterns will be different, but they are easily adaptable if you've spent time practicing patterns on guitar or ukulele. Now, the gap is not necessarily this physicality and this understanding of the violin in and of itself. The gap is that this huge river separates you from what you know. And so that in and of itself can be frustrating. If you're an accomplished pianist and you can play amazing music, jumping onto the violin is going to be more frustrating than if you hadn't been accomplished in music. And if you're an accomplished guitarist or somebody who can really riff on the guitar and play well with your fingers moving around, there's going to be a little bit of a frustration right away that you wouldn't have had. But I would like to tell you this. All you have to do is take those things that you know will be an asset, move forward with those. And the ones that might keep you back, we got to just not loop on them, not make them our focus. So with piano, the music theory is visually represented on the keyboard. It's easy to see in your mind's eye the half steps, whole steps, and bigger intervals. You're used to practicing these too, whether it's a major second or a major seventh, how far apart your hands are. So your brain already has an idea of measuring distance and audiating the sound that would go along with that. The other thing about piano is you've probably played in every key signature. So knowing the different sharps and flats and knowing where to put your hands as a result, and that not being maybe quite such a big deal. You know, we play a string instrument. Sometimes we come from a background where it's like, what do you mean it's an F sharp or it's an A flat minor? Like, whoa, I don't want to play with 7 flats on the piano. No big deal. So that music theory and that ear training are going to transfer. Conversely, if you've already played a string instrument like guitar, ukulele, that facility of your left hand moving along the fingerboard is going to help. And the coordination of your left and right hand to play in time and have those halves of the brain sync up is going to be a nice start. If you have a fluid, relaxed, rhythmic strumming right hand, that's going to transfer to having a rhythmic, relaxed bow. And so although the somatic distances and the feelings are going to be different, we squeeze harder on the guitar than we do on the violin. We shift a lot more, and there's no frets on the violin. And the right hand is much more nuanced than simply a strumming pattern. But you have a ground to start with. And because your fingers aren't giving you a lot of issues as far as attacking and dropping, especially if you can drop them from the bass joint right away, you're going to be able to hit the ground running, and that's going to feel good. Nadia Boulanger has a principle where she trains musicians across instruments because musical intelligence is transferable even when physical technique isn't exactly transferable. The classically trained player is already partway through Boulanger's classroom. They just need the instrument physical specific work. And this kind of reminds me of Montessori. In some of my early days of teaching, I taught in Montessori environments, and we have different levels of humans together helping one another, different levels of teachers, different levels of students, different ages, and different topics. And while one student might excel and really nerd out on science, another might do it on another subject, and they help each other through it. Your brain and your experience and your cohort of people who are studying with you are all going to do that for you. So as you look around the room and create a mastermind brain of other people that are learning violin just like you, that's going to lift you up. And there are going to be areas of your previous music study that boost you quickly, and other areas that you just allow to relax and fall away and not be as relevant. My own experience going from classical to jazz, learning piano and guitar when I was in high school, and adding on ukulele and being able to play all the band instruments and percussion was amazing, because even though I don't have as impressive of a vocabulary on those other instruments, I'm not going to, riff an amazing Coltrane-esque solo on the clarinet, but I can play the clarinet with a decent tone, and I can use my breath control, and I can relate that. That really opened me up. And when you play different instruments, especially something as challenging as the violin, it opens you up to this deeper avenue of what you really love about music. Do I really love the instrument I play? Do I really love the physical motion of it, the technique, the sensory feeling? Or do I really love the sound that this particular instrument makes, the tone, the ringing intonation? Do I like how it feels when I play it, or what I look like when I play it? Do I like how it makes something come alive for me in a way no other instrument does? And playing multiple instruments means you get to hone in on what that deeper benefit is for you, that bigger benefit. And those bigger dreams, those bigger benefits are why we stick with something that is hard. Having better relationships, having better interactions with people in our life and with other things. If you're playing the violin, it's challenging, and other things are going to feel easier. It's as simple as that. So it's really fun to have that level of deepness with yourself and really ask the questions that help you discover it. You already speak music, and what violin is asking of you is a different relationship with commitment, with digging in, with loving yourself and loving yourself through things that are hard and challenging. And if I'm right about who you are a person that wants that enjoys that is looking to go to a different level in your life, not just with an instrument, but in an opening way. And violin can do that for you. It can also just be a really hard hobby that you enjoy being challenged with. It doesn't have to be deep and woo-woo, but it can be if you want it to. So here is what you're going to do to apply it in 5 minutes or less. Take a simple melody that you know, or a simple chord structure, something simple, a few notes, one note, and play them on the different instruments that you know how to play. Perhaps it's percussion, ukulele, and you've just started violin. Perhaps it's cello and violin and viola. You've got a little string quartet at your house. Play that simple riff or melody or those few notes on each instrument, and let your physical body catch up in real time, but really notice what your focus is. Are you able to let go? And if you're not, just play it with a single note. Just transfer one note from instrument to instrument Which instrument do you get more excited about? Which instrument do you get more frustrated with? Which instrument makes you want to learn more and go deeper? And of course, I'm a little bit biased, so I always hope that it's the violin. Your frustration is proportional not just to a musical intelligence or a vocabulary, but to a desire. And the deeper our desire and our commitment, the less the frustration derails us. It might still be there, but it's not going to take you off course because you want to play that instrument. And I knew even when I was 8 years old and couldn't do a thing on the violin, sounded horrible. I had to play it. I needed it. And I worked so hard. And every time I've quit or changed directions or come back, it's felt the same. It's a part of me and who I am and how I express. And so let go of the technique and the technical aspect and lean in today to how you really feel when you play your instrument. And if this is your story as a violinist, come connect with us for free on Facebook.com/group/adult violin. Everybody else, check me out on Facebook under EP Archer. We have lots of amazing musical things coming for you, and I can't wait to hear your story. So just stop by and say hi, because your best music is on the other side. And I'll see you there.